Hi everyone. Okay, so it is day 2 with this vase that I am redoing and aging and adding handles to and so forth and so on. So I'm going to finish the second handle and then we'll need to let that dry for I think a day or two. And I'll show you the first handle. It has had to cure a little bit. This modeling clay does take a bit of time to dry and adhere to the surface of the vase. So I'll probably need to go back with some spackling compound or some glue, perhaps even. But let's see how it turns out. It's staying adhered at the moment to staying stuck to the vase at the moment. So I'm going to walk you through making the second handle and sticking that on, and then once we do that, I'll let it set for a couple of days and come back, and then we'll finish it up. Okay, so the first handle here is stuck to the vase. I keep pressing this clay against it, the modeling clay, and it seems to be working okay. I did notice a little bit of a gap here in the handle, but I think I'm okay there. So I'm going to turn it around to camera here, and the spackling compound dried very well. I'm very happy with how it's dried. It does have some crumblies, little pieces that fluff off here and there, so I might need to go through it with a little brush before I paint, but we'll give it a shot and see. All right, so take the compound here, or excuse me, we'll take the modeling clay and we will wet it and mold it and shape it how we want it. And then we'll stick it onto the pot. And keep in mind, once you paint it, you really won't see a lot of the cracks and crevices. It's just while you are using this clay, it gets a little bit separated from itself. Okay, so let's take a little bit of this and we will attach it on here to start with. I think one of the hardest parts is lining it up with the other one. You don't want it to be too off from the other side. I think that looks pretty good there. And then you want to mold it onto your pot. Okay, so let me show you what we have at this point. So I have both handles on the pottery item on the vessel. And I'm going to, I think they turned out very well. I will put the instructions, the steps that I did of the molding clay, the water, and how I had attached it to the pot in my description information. So that will be there for anyone who wants to read more about that. And then what I'm going to do is excuse me, what I am going to do is take this acrylic paint, and this is an oyster beige. I have oyster beige, and then I also have a raw umber acrylic paint. So I'm going to start with the oyster beige, and I'm going to start painting the vessel itself, all one color to start with. And I'm going to use this paper towel to apply it and just start putting it all around in areas. Okay, so I think I am all done. Let me bring it in a little bit closer. And you can see where I've added some of the grays and the blacks and the browns and the different tones in the handle and the creams. And I updated the top rim area just to make sure I covered the green that was originally there as well. And so I think at this point I'm done. You know, it's almost where you can keep going forever and ever and always have a different look in the end. But I really like this side of it. And it just looks like an old, weathered, worn, historical even, vintage clay pot. You know, from where I'm looking at it here in person, just the black, almost soot dirty pieces and particles represented in the black paint, and then the grays on around the handle, and then I have the creams and the browns down here of almost sitting in dirt for centuries, and then the little bit of browns and grays and black up at the edges. And if I come around to the other side, similarly, there are grays and browns on this side. And in my mind, it looks like this vase was made from clay from the very beginning. Not a reproduction, not a piece that's trying to look old necessarily. But you know, if I were to happen upon this in Greece or Italy and unearthed it from an archaeological dig, I would think for a minute that this was 1,000 years old. But I'm really impressed and excited by this. I think somewhere in our home, displayed with some maybe grasses or different green leaves or flowers or something, is going to be very pretty. So I will show a picture as well once I style it in our home and how that looks. But for now, I'm going to let everything dry and cure for at least 24 to 48 hours. But I'm super excited by the finished product, and I hope this inspires you to try something new. Take something that you find at a vintage store or Goodwill or an antique mall and repurpose it and reuse it in a different way. Keep it out of the landfill. Find another use for it. Put some decoupage on it. Put some spackling on it. Put some clay on it and some paint. See what you can create for yourself as well. And I hope you find some joy in doing so. So I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care. Bye now.